So this tutorial is going to teach you how to create clipping mask logos, and I have two examples here, one where I've used an actual outline image and one where I've used text. So depending on your ideas, you might apply either one of these or a combination of both. So to do this, we first need to set up a new document, and in Adobe Illustrator we do that by going to File and New, and what will pop up is something like this. Now mine is already preset on A3 size, which you can see here, but if it doesn't come up on yours like that, you need to make sure that your document profile here is on print and your size is A3. Okay, that will give us a big enough working space. Now at the moment over here my orientation is portrait. So because I want to do my landscape, I need to swap that over to this one here. And then if I click OK, it will load my new document. Okay, so now what we need to do is, for the text clipping mask, we need to place the image that we want to clip into the text first. So if you have saved an image from the internet, if you go File and Place, find where you've saved that image, so I've got this one here of the beach, and double click on that image to place it into the document. Now, because I'm on the black mouse, which is over here, I can move the image around, so I'm going to pop it up in this corner here, and I can also resize it. Now, the important thing to remember when you're resizing is to hold down Shift. If you don't hold down Shift, this is what can happen. Okay, you get images that are out of proportion. As soon as you hold down Shift, what you get is the same proportion of the image regardless of what size it is. So it will always stay in proportion no matter which way you're going. Okay, so once you've got your image about this size, then what we're going to do is put the text over the top. So you're going to click on the Type tool, which is over here in our panel, and you're going to click somewhere on the image. Now I'm going to make my text impact because that's really bold and there's lots of room for the image to clip inside, and I'm going to make my size 72 for the moment. So I'm going to type my word. Okay. Now again, if you click back on the black mouse tool, again you can resize. So that's not quite big enough for me, so I'm going to resize that holding down Shift and dragging that out. And again I can move it and make sure that I'm getting as much of that beach in the background possible. Now all you need to do now is, it is already selected, the text, so you need to make sure this box is around the text. You need to hold down Shift and click on the background image. Now both of those images are selected, the image and the text. Now all you need to do is the shortcut Control, so holding down Control and the number 7, and it will automatically clip the picture into your text. Now, if you feel like you need to go back in and edit any part of this, you can double click on it and you can take away letters, for example, okay, and things like that. So you can actually go in, you can release the clipping mask if you want to get the picture back out. There's lots of things that you can do here once you actually enter that item. So that's the first one done. So now you can move that wherever you like. You might move that down here. Okay, now we need to do a little bit more of a complicated one. So again, I'm going to place the outline. So what I've done is, outlines like this motorcycle one here work best. So if you want to use an outline of a butterfly or an outline of a dog, you might type in dog outline in Google Images. So something like this will allow us to create a shape and then clip inside that shape. So I'm going to double click on that to put it into my document, and again it's come up quite big, So I'm holding down Shift and I'm resizing that to a reasonable size and moving it onto my page. Now what I'm going to do, up the top here you've got the Live Trace button. Now what that does is it traces it and turns it into an outline. Next to the button you have a little arrow, and this one gives you some presets depending on what your picture is. So for this one I'm going to go black and white logo because that's essentially what it is. So if I click on that, it might take a little bit of time, and what it does is it's now traced that image for me. So I'm going to click on expand because that releases it. Okay, and then I'm going to right click on it and click ungroup. Okay, so that's done for the moment. Now what you need to do is you need to place the image in this time. So we're going to place, I'm going to place the beach again. Now I need to resize this to a reasonable size that's going to fit over my bike. Okay, so that looks alright. Now what I need to do with that image is I now need to send it to the back. So to do that, if you right click it, go to arrange and go send to back, it's now behind the bike. Okay, so if you now click the bike, again holding down Shift, click the background picture, and if you go Control+7, it will clip that into that item. Now as you can see, it hasn't quite grasped some of these shapes in here. That's okay. If we move that now, we can then select these and delete those from the selection, and that makes it a lot simpler in terms of a shape. Okay, so that's an example of 2 ways to do the clipping mask depending on your logo design. Once you've done your logo on this page, you're then going to save it, and we're going to save it as a PDF because that will allow us to print it. So if you go File, Save As, and what we're going to call it, we'll call it Clipping Mask Logo. Now, at the moment, it's saved as an Illustrator file. What that means is, if I wanted to go back in and re-edit this file, I would save it as an Illustrator file. If I'm finished with it and I want to print it now, I'm going to save it as a PDF. Okay, so if you click on PDF, you're going to go Save. A window will pop up. Okay, what this does is it looks at presets, so we want to set it to high quality print because we want it to be quality when we print it out at the printer. And then you're just going to go Save PDF. Sometimes it can take a little while to save it depending on what you've got in your file. And that's now saved as a PDF. So we can now print the PDF and it will come out exactly like what we've got here on the page. So that's the end of that tutorial. So if you want to experiment with these 2 techniques, you can, and then we can develop your own logo design using the same method. So the biggest thing to remember is you have the letters or the outline that you wish to clip in front. You have the image behind. You need to select both of the layers, so both the text and the image, or the outline and the image, and the trick to remember is Control+7, and that is the shortcut for the clipping mask tool in Adobe Illustrator.